All right, let's get the week started on OB Live. Jeff Ketchum's taking care of some business today and maybe traveling to Austin or traveling somewhere. Safe travels, Ketch, wherever you're headed today. But he's taking care of some business. We are taking care of you guys in the chat. Send us super chats if you like. Shout out to Specs, who brings us the chat each and every day. And then shout out to this guy for jumping in. That's Jason Sukamel, Orange Blood. You see the two of us on the Recruiting Insider every week. And you see Jason on the Modcast every week and on one of Anwar's shows. And you see him all over the place. So you guys know who he is. We'll all forgive the Steelers sweatshirt. Those of us that aren't Steelers fans. He's got a game tonight. He's got a
Monday Night Football. Come on, it's Monday Night Football. It's my Steelers. You know, Chet, I'll be honest, when I put this on, I was like, oh, I was going to sit down low so people couldn't see my Steelers. Okay. I got to represent today, Chad. Come on. First place, Pittsburgh Steelers. Brother.
Sometimes I don't, Jason, but I even felt the need to put the star on even after last night. So, hey, it's a little one, though. It's little. You can barely see it. It's kind of a hidden star.
Got smaller after last night, didn't it?
I was going to say, yeah, it represents the playoff opportunity for the Cowboys right now, the size of the star. All right, so we're going to jump into a couple discussions today. We'll talk about the new running backs coach that Texas got late last week, because we haven't had a chance to really do that as it hit, Friday afternoon, I guess. And also the thoughts of this opt-out list, Jason, that seems to be growing a little bit. And if you saw a note on Orange Bloods over the weekend, the opt-out list, we knew it included Anthony Hill. It now includes names reported that Orange Bloods believes like Ethan Burke, Jalen Gilbo, Trey Moore, Malik Muhammad, and Michael Taft. Guys that probably are not going to play in the bowl. And then based on wherever they are, classified or their experience and what they're looking forward to, maybe they are done playing at Texas. And one of the guys that got mentioned, Jason, on Orange Bloods by Ketch as kind of a maybe one to look for, maybe one just to kind of keep an eye out on. I found it interesting, and so I decided to structure the show around it today a little bit, because it's old number 0. It's DeAndre Moore. One number 0 is gone. We know that. We know Anthony Hill's gone. But this DeAndre Moore note kind of got me thinking about the receiving room as a whole. I've been saying I don't think Sark can just re-rack all receivers and tight ends and just try it again in 2026. So give me your thought about this receiving group, but specifically a guy like DeAndre Moore. In your mind, was he back in 2026, no doubt, or is he a guy you've been kind of thinking about?
Yeah, before we touch on DeAndre, I'm sure most people watching this probably have seen it already, but Michael Taft did formally declare this morning that he was declaring for the NFL, which is basically his way of saying he's not going to play in the bowl game. So
right.
Played his last game at Texas. How fitting. Win against A&M. Got that interception to help close it out. So, good for Michael Taft. We're all big fans of his.
Pretty good finish.
Yeah, it really is. Go out on a high note, right? So the DeAndre Moore possibility. Yeah, you know what? When that came out on Friday, it was a little surprising to me, Chad. I always knew, going into the season, him leaving early for the NFL was a possibility. I think, those conversations had been kicked around, or that the possibility had been kicked around. But he didn't have the kind of season that would, I didn't think, really elevate his stock. I'm looking, he pretty much was identical, his stats almost to last year, or 2 years ago, I guess, his sophomore and junior year. So, if he leaves, does he go through to the portal, find a new home, try test some water somewhere else? Does he try his hand in the NFL? 38 receptions, Chad, 532 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 fewer catch than he had in 2024. He did have about 80 more yards, but he had almost half the touchdowns he had. I don't think he took the step forward that DeAndre Moore was expecting, that Texas was expecting, that I was certainly expecting. I'm guessing everybody watching this. So what does his future hold at Texas? Okay, does he come back, try to make a big splash as last year? Does he go somewhere else? Like I said, maybe he thinks the grass is greener. He can find somewhere that's more friendly to his skill set. Does he opt out and go to the NFL? We're still waiting word on that. My question is, what's his value if he decides to go to the NFL?
Right. I think, to me, if he's going to go, if he's not going to, if it ends up where he's not at Texas in 2026, it needs to be a college to me. It needs to be one more year of, hey, NFL, here's what I can really be. I don't know if 38 catches, for 532 is blinking at any NFL team. 4 touchdowns. I don't know if that blinks at any NFL team at all. So, and the other thing that's weird for me, you mentioned it, Jason, 1 fewer catch and 3 fewer touchdowns. Somebody in that wide receiver room had to take a big jump. And we were all looking at 2 guys for obvious reasons. It was Wingo and Moore. They were the experience coming back. They had to take the step. And we all have talked about it. They did not make big moves, plural, in the portal. 1 receiver move, 1 tight end move. Neither of those really worked out super well. Wingo did make the move from 29 catches up to 50. He did do that. He was the leading receiver. But Jason, this is the first year under Sarkisian where Texas has not had a guy catch 60 footballs. Wingo caught 50. Here's your trivia for the day, everybody. Only 2 guys have ever caught 60 balls for Steve Sarkisian at Texas. Jason, you want to guess who the 2 guys are?
Really, there's got to be one, right?
He is, and he helps you out because he did it 3 times. You want to know why he threw it to him when he had a broken hand? That's why. He caught 62, 60, and 75 for Texas. Okay. Only so one other guy. What's that?
Under Sark. One more. I don't think Adonai Mitchell got there, did he?
Nope.
I'm drawing a blank. Who's the second?
Yeah. Notice I said one other guy, not one other receiver.
Yeah. Okay. I was Gunnar Helm.
It's Gunnar Helm. Yeah. Okay. Gunnar got 60 last year. So he took that step and kind of filled a gap in a way to get up to that 60 mark. Wingo wasn't quite able. Maybe it wasn't fair to ask him to go that far, but Wingo couldn't quite get up to 60. We know there were some drops in there, but between Wingo not quite getting up to 60 and then this move we're talking about with DeAndre Moore where he just stays put, it kind of explains why this passing game had the year that it had.
Yeah, and I feel like Wingo got better as the season went on. Right? Did he take the step that we all thought he was going to coming into the season? No, probably not. You know, he probably didn't have the kind of season we expected him to, but he got better and showed some flashes. DeAndre Moore, his biggest game, honestly, was against Georgia. So he did play well there, but he was just a non-factor in a lot of games, Chad. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of games. So,
and you're looking at his stats right there. How many games did he play in this year? Was it every one?
He played in 11, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Was there maybe one game where he was banged up a little? Or I was trying to think if there was an injury at all or anything like that.
Yeah, he played in 11 games, so he did miss one, is what I'm showing. But there were too many games where he was a non-factor. I mean, could he come back into this offense and be a receiver 1 type receiver next year? It's possible. I mean, we think he has that kind of talent, but I don't know. I just don't know what the future holds him. I was taken aback when I saw the report.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, oh, okay. I mean, and I knew that he fancied himself as an NFL receiver before the season began, and there was a possibility that he could leave. That was widely discussed before the season. But once the season played out, I just assumed, okay, he's going to come back and try to elevate his stock. Now, could it be a scenario where maybe it's a mutual parting of ways and he goes and plays? I don't think the NFL is in his future, not this year, Chad. I'm with you. If he leaves, I think he goes to another school, and then Texas tries to plug in someone in a spot. Now, the question is, who is his replacement? Is it Dalen McCutcheon? If he goes, I mean, it's kind of weird. I feel like I'm kind of straddling the fence here because on one hand, I'm sitting there saying, hey, DeAndre Moore wasn't great this year. So if he goes, is it that big of a loss if he goes somewhere else? But the second part of that is who's going to replace him?
Yeah, because as much as we all, including DeAndre, would have liked to have seen that 39 go up to around 50. Hey, 38 catches, not anything to sneeze at, right? It's not nothing. A 14-yard average isn't nothing. You'd like to see more touchdowns go up, but he's always been a guy that I really liked watching. I never thought he was a liability to this team. But like you said, there were just some games where a non-factor. It's a great way to say it. Just you get to a game and go, man, where was DeAndre Moore in this game? And you mentioned mutual, the idea of it being mutual, both from the receiver's perspective, Jason, and the team. Do both of them maybe think that DeAndre Moore needs to go find the better version of himself in another jersey? I don't know. I don't know the answer, obviously, but I just wonder about that. If we got Sark with the truth serum in him today, would he tell us, no, I trust him. I trust him to add 15, 20 more catches next year. It's good. Or would he say, I don't know, I'm not sure?
Well, and I'm looking at his game log. Ohio State, nobody had big stats there, but 2 catches for 6 yards. Ohio State, you had 1 catch for 4 yards against A&M. I'm trying to remember, did he get hurt in that A&M game? So there were some games where he was just a complete non-factor. I mean, he had 74 yards against Arkansas, 75 Georgia. Those were in 75 Florida. And those were probably his best games. San Jose State, 79 yards. I didn't even count that one. But yeah, it's kind of a little bit high risk, high reward, possibly, if that's the thinking. If you're at Texas and you're thinking, hey, maybe DeAndre, maybe it's best for you to go try your hand somewhere else, and maybe it's best for Texas. Could be, but that's a little bit risky. You're pushing out an experienced veteran, pretty good receiver, not a great receiver. The other part of this, Chad, listen, this is just you and me talking, right? I have not heard this, to be clear, but DeAndre Moore this year probably came with a pretty decent NIL price tag. Mm-hmm. Just the way it is nowadays. And if you pay a guy a pretty hefty NIL tag and he doesn't produce the way you think he should have, then it's, hey, do you have to renegotiate that NIL discussion, readdress that NIL discussion? Or maybe you say, hey, that money, we could use that money elsewhere. Maybe it's time for DeAndre Moore to go elsewhere. I don't know. I mean, again, this thing is still kind of up in the air and it's unsettled as we sit here and talk about it, but there's a lot of different ways it could go. The one that would surprise me the most, I think, would be him going to the NFL.
Yeah, I think I would definitely agree with that. Somebody was asking, the Big Cheto throwing in the question, has Moore been practicing for the bowl game? I don't believe we know that for sure, but we assume.
Yeah, he hasn't opted out yet, but good question, Big Cheto. We need to check on that.
Yeah, have not heard that he's not. All right, thank you guys for jumping in. If you want to send us a super chat, it'll go right to the top of the list. We got a couple things to discuss today with a Florida feel, including a coach Texas just got from Florida and a big name you all know from Florida. Well, one big name you might want if you're a Texas fan, another big name that apparently is going to hit the portal. We'll get to that. Let's also thank some of our great partners, including AV Consultations. You can get all set up for the holidays and beyond.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and all of us at Audiovisual would like to wish you and your family a happy holiday season. This time of year can get a little hectic, so we want to remind you to relax, enjoy the season with your family and friends, and give us a call at 512-255-8678 for all of your home entertainment needs. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, the music, the decorations, the presents, the whole darn thing. So this year I'm asking all you listeners to help make this a special holiday for everyone. Smiles are contagious and free, so let's give them away like the government gives away your money. Let's high-five strangers on the street, hold the door for people behind us, tip your servers more than they've ever been tipped before, give to a charity, or hell, give to a bunch of charities. If someone does a good job, tell them they did a good job. Pat someone on the butt, sing in public places just because it feels good. And as always, hug your kids until they beg you to stop, watch some games with your friends, and make love to your wife or your husband. I know there's some women listening too. You can still give us a call at 512-255-8678 if you'd like to get some cool electronics, but more importantly, have a great holiday season and a friggin' awesome next year.
Yes, indeed. And remember, New Year's Eve is that Texas bowl game against Michigan. And if you're looking for a place to go check it out, I don't have absolute confirmation yet, but I got a feeling like we might be looking at this bad boy. That's the TCH Social Austin huge screen, biggest screen in the ATX, 183 in Anderson Mill. If you're looking for a place to go watch games, go check it out. They got 6 locations of the Texas Card House around the state. We always hit the Austin one, of course, but there are the other locations for you at the bottom. Mention Orange Bloods at check-in, and you're going to get that 1 month of free club membership and 2 hours of free poker play. And don't forget about the online version at hijackpoker.com. Just go to hijackpoker.com, scan that QR code. You can put it on any device you want and get to playing. All right, Jason, new running backs coach for Texas. Obviously, Chad Scott was let go last week, and then pretty quickly that position was filled. We always joke about the portal when guys seem to be set up. I'm not sure if that was what was going on here, but it did seem to happen pretty quickly. Jabbar Jalouk is the new running backs coach at Texas. He was at Florida, and he's got some pretty nice running backs on his resume, Jason.
He does. And when Chad Scott was dismissed or relieved of his job, Jabbar Jaluk's name came up almost immediately, and we kind of said it on our Orange Bloods chat. I was like, this thing's going to move pretty quickly. Sark probably already has his guy lined up. They met late last week, and it's funny because I talked to someone who kind of had some connections there, and they said, oh yeah, like this thing's progressing nicely. And I put a post on Orange Bloods Friday, I don't know, 4:30 or something. Hey, hearing this thing's trending well. And literally, I think like 3 or 4 minutes later, he got announced that he committed. So I was like, oh, I was a little late on the draw on getting that story out. But yeah, I tell you what, he's got a pretty extensive history. Like I had a Florida source. I had to looking down at my phone, look at my text message, would have to find it. But he's been at LSU. He's been at Florida. He coached high school ball in the state of Louisiana for a long time. So he's got some ties there, which I think can really help Texas. Texas obviously recruits the state of Louisiana pretty heavily. So very highly regarded as a recruiter. And like in talking to Florida people, they say, hey, he actually had, everybody knows about Ball, but he has a stable of running backs that people maybe don't realize how good his running backs are. Like, I don't sit here and read all these names. I don't even see it on my phone, but like all the guys he's coached that have done well. Darius Geis, obviously Ball at Florida now. He was Trevor Etienne. He had a hand in Leonard Fournette. Season. So he's coached some high profile guys. He's a high profile, high volume recruiter. He can help you outside the running back room in the state of Louisiana, in the Southeast. He also recruits Georgia very heavily. So I think this is a good hire for Texas. The Chad Scott thing just was a 1 year, I don't want to call it a disaster, but it just did not work out for whatever reason. So Sark decided to make a quick change there.
Yeah, Sandman throwing in the question about Ball to Texas yet. Not yet, Sandman. And, of course, the last time Texas made a move at running back, the running back coach last year, we kept thinking there was going to be a guy coming with the coach. And then now fans are doing it again, Jason. I like Jaden Ball. He's an interesting back to me because I watch him, and I think he is a good back in a sloppy offense. When I saw him at, second team All SEC by the end of the year, I think that's an indictment on the conference more than it is anything. I'm not trying to dog Ball, but I was surprised that he got to 1,100 yards because to me it's flashes. There have been moments where you go, oh, wow, that guy could be really good. If this
and everybody saw those flashes against Texas. That's why everybody
that's the thing. They finally got him going against Texas. When I would peek in on them, they could never quite get Ball going. And then they did. And then Florida was coming to College Station to take on my Aggies. And I thought, oh, good Lord, here we go. He's been unlocked. And sort of like the Dallas Wilson thing, it never really went crazy after that. But I like him. I think he's a really good back. And he's certainly, at 1,100 yards, we all know the whole Steve Sarkisian 1,000-yard back thing ended this year by a long way. So, he absolutely would be an upgrade for what the production Texas had this year.
Oh, he'd walk in best back in that room, I would think. Florida's had several guys hit the portal or declare for the portal this morning, Chad. And one of them is Florida running back KD Daniels is in the portal. No word on Ball yet, but KD Daniels, he was a fourth guy coming out of high school. You don't know what his stats or anything were this year, but it's funny. Everybody kind of is so high on Ball. And you mentioned Dallas Wilson. Well, they had their best games of the year against Texas. That's why Texas fans want those guys. Dallas Wilson was banged up a lot. So, but would he be an upgrade for Texas? Yeah. Could Texas use the depth and experience? 100%. So we'll see what happens with Ball. Lagway, their quarterback, is in the portal all of a sudden. They had a DB enter today, a tight end enter. So Florida's kind of having an influx of guys leaving the program all of a sudden. Or is that an influx of guys leaving? Is that
the outflux?
Yeah, outflux. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But, and you got to wonder with Lagway hitting the portal, does that maybe make it more appealing for someone like Ball to hit the portal? We'll see. But if he does enter, I would think Texas would be right there in the mix for him.
Yeah, and since you mentioned it, I definitely want you to talk about DJ Lagway. If you guys want to jump in, let us know. I see a couple of chats that I will get to as well. And shout out to Specs. Get you a little Specs here coming up in a second. Also, let me remind you a good place if you're looking for a little Monday night bite. How about some homemade lasagna? That look good? Yeah, maybe warm you up on a cold evening. Taste on Main does that lasagna every Monday night, plus the half price bottles of wine all day on Mondays. Right there on Main Street in Buda. You don't have to worry about parking. It is free right in the area. And then you can walk around Buda a little bit if the weather allows. They do have indoor and outdoor seating. So check them out. Plus, as I've mentioned, only East Coast oysters are served at Taste on Main. And it also just happens to be a badass casual steakhouse. No dress code, just awesome food. Go see them. Tell them you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live at Taste on Main. So, Jason, you mentioned DJ Lagway, and you hit right on the point that first, popped into my brain, which was, whoa, this is a guy that the performances I understand. He has not been incredible at Florida, but a lot of guys maybe came to Florida because of him. And he was, you sort of structured your thinking of that team around Lagway. Talk to me about the market now for DJ Lagway. Talk about a guy where there's flashes. There's moments, but boy, were they few and far between. And there was a lot of sloppiness too. So where does Lagway end up?
He's a young player, and you'll watch him, right? And you'll be like, whoa, that is an NFL all-pro throw. And he's a big guy with a big arm. But like you said, those flashes are few and far between. I'm like, I don't know it. I said it this morning when it came out that he was going. I was like, I haven't seen it from the guy. And I know he's got NFL upside, right? High NFL upside even, but I haven't seen it. I didn't see it much this year. I didn't see it enough this year. 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Didn't he have like 4 or 5 in one game, I think, interceptions? So where does he wind up? It's a good question. And I do think he was the kind of name, Chad, as a recruit, and certainly when he got to Florida, that other guys would follow and did follow. So with him leaving, does that make it more likely that some guys are going to say, you know what, I don't like it at Florida as much as I thought I would, especially without DJ there? I think you got to watch LSU there. Cody Carpentier, our OB Live partner, put something in our team's chat, like I guess looked like Lane Kiffin started following him on Instagram or something right away when he entered the portal, or when he came out that he's going to enter the portal. And to me, like, man, if you're Lane Kiffin and you take DJ Lagway, that's a little risky. I mean, I don't want to say DJ Lagway is a coach killer, but he could be if you don't get him turned around. But maybe if there's anybody who can get, the best version of Lagway out of that body and that physical skill set, maybe a coach like Lane Kiffin can. But I don't know. It's a little risky. It's kind of like, Auburn taking the Oklahoma quarterback,
Jackson Arnold.
Thank you, Jackson Arnold, that was so highly thought of coming out of high school. It didn't look good at Oklahoma. He went to Auburn. Look how that worked out. DJ Lagway, really highly thought out about a high school, goes to Florida. Hasn't looked great. Does that mean, is that a Florida issue? Is that just who DJ Lagway is? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think the market for him will be high because he's a former 5-star and he's got those flashes that you mentioned. So I think the market will be pretty high for DJ Lagway, but I don't know for sure. It'll be interesting to see who all wants it.
Honestly, I kind of think of him maybe the way I'm thinking about CJ Baxter moving forward, which is that lower level of Power 4 takes a look and then see, if that's where it ends up, or is it the upper level of the G5 world? Like those are the first two ideas I would have for Lagway. I would think there's some lower scaled Power 4 that would take a look at Lagway.
Would you leave Florida for that though? I think Lagway views himself as upper Power 4. I don't know. Do you leave Florida for a lower level Power 4?
I don't know.
I know they're changing their offense. Obviously got new coaches, changing their offense, everything, this, that, and the other. And someone said in the chat, and it's true, he also cannot stay healthy. DJ Lagway can't stay healthy.
That's true. Can't stay healthy and can't stop throwing it to the other team. It's a a rough combo. And our guy Cody Carpentier jumped in the chat. LSU, I think he's right. That's the 5 interception game, I believe, was the LSU game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Which of all, I mean, not that you ever want to throw 5 picks as a Florida quarterback, but please don't do it against LSU. Like that's one of those, that's got a rivalry vibe to it, and it's a good team. Don't do that. But yes, DJ Lagway out there in the portal world as well. Somebody suggesting JMU and Tulane. You know what? I think you're being mean by saying that, but maybe
he's a Texas guy. Maybe he decides to come home. I saw someone said like Baylor or something. I don't know who.
Baylor,
what program
TCU. TCU got mentioned.
Yeah, what TCU, SMU, Baylor. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, somebody throwing in Prairie View. Prairie View just went to a bowl, so maybe I don't know.
Hey, triple overtime, damn near won the championship.
Oh my God, that was a crazy.
Onward got me watching that darn thing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to turn this game on.
I saw that on the chat. You're like, you're gonna make me turn this game on, aren't you? That was an exciting game, and I can't. Was it Prairie View that got screwed on that call at the end?
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah.
That was not. How did they miss that one? Jason, back to the original discussion of DeAndre Moore in the slot position. Tej putting in an interesting idea saying Michael Terry in the slot. Michael Terry has been transitioned over to the running back room technically, but give us a thought here. Like if DeAndre Moore, for whatever reason, were to move on, is Michael Terry one of your candidates for, all right, here's a guy who's going to fight for the slot?
When I was talking earlier, his name popped into my head. I think Dalen McCutcheon's more of a natural fit, and he's played there a little bit. But, Terry, when he was being recruited, he would be a very unconventional slot receiver with his size, right? The guy's, almost built more like a tight end than a receiver, certainly built more like an outside receiver than a slot receiver. But he would be an interesting choice because when he was being recruited, he was so versatile. I mean, there was talk of him doing some running back stuff, working out of the slot, working as a flex tight end. Hell, there was talk of him on defense even. So this guy can do a little bit of everything. It hasn't quite worked out at running back yet, Chad. So it might be an interesting option for Michael Terry if that all these dominoes have to fall into place. But if he was to try his hand at slot, he'd be a mismatch, right? I don't think linebackers are going to be able to run with him, and you put a smaller defensive back, try to cover him. He's got the size advantage there. So he'd be an intriguing option. I mean, again, we're getting 3 steps ahead of ourselves, but Tej, I would think he would be a guy that would maybe get a look at least in that position if that position is open next year.
We talked about it a little bit during the season, but Jason, if I could just go back and get that first pass of the year complete from Arch to DeAndre Moore, I just wonder I just wonder if we could just change that.
I don't even remember what was you got
that roll the pocket throw that
he skipped it, right?
He skipped it. Moore's wide open.
Yep.
Because that's the thing. DeAndre Moore would say back to us, fellas, I'm not saying I haven't dropped passes. But are you going to argue I had a perfect quarterback every single throw this year? Come on now. Growing pains everywhere. It's like, yeah, you're right. That would be correct. Also in the chat, a couple discussions coming up before we get too far away from the running back thing. Jason, we were just talking about Ball from Florida. The name Caden Durham has come up in the chat a couple times today. Are you hearing anything about Durham wanting to leave LSU?
No, I think it's probably wishful thinking by Texas fans. And, I'm not saying if he wanted to leave that Texas wouldn't be a factor, but Texas was a complete non-factor for him coming out of high school. Now you got a new running backs coach, and, that can change. NIL can change all this stuff. But, that would surprise me a little bit. But, hey, he's a Texas kid, so stranger things have happened. I've heard his name mentioned just from fans, but I haven't heard anything from, like, reputable, news sources indicating that he wants to leave. So.
Yeah. And then this is another, looks like a Sandman has a dream too. Dallas Wilson. What's the price? We mentioned Lagway. With Lagway moving on, I do wonder about a guy like Wilson, a big flash against Texas. Is that enough for you where he might test the market?
Well, again, with the coaching change and a new offense, I think anything's possible, but, we haven't heard anything on him definitely doing it. And again, he's a really good player. Texas actually recruited him pretty heavily out of high school. Mm-hmm. He was committed to Oregon for a long time before he ended up flipping to Florida. So that one makes a little bit more sense to me. But again, like you're saying, Chad, Texas fans are like, they're treating this guy like he's Jerry Rice because, he did it one game against Texas, but that's really about it. So, I mean, he got, I know he was injured, but 12 catches, 174 yards. I'm trying to pull his, how many yards did he go for against Texas? Do you remember?
That was,
let's see, I got it right here. 111 yards of his 174 were against Texas.
I was going to say, I knew it was right around 100.
And then he followed it up the next week against A&M, 3 for 20.
Right.
And then the next week against Mississippi State, 2 for 36. So, I mean, I get it. Really good player. And so if he does enter the transfer portal, would I expect Texas to kick the tires? Absolutely. Texas wanted him out of college. But let's not act like if Texas was to get someone like Dallas Wilson, it cures all their issues at receiver. I mean, this is a guy that still comes in with a lot of question marks.
If you think about it, he was kind of like Jeremiah Smith turned inside out, because Jeremiah Smith had nothing against Texas and he shredded everybody else. And then Dallas was opposite. He had his success against Texas and couldn't do that against anybody. That was such a strange season for him. Sandman is definitely a name we'll keep an eye on. Somebody also threw us in a little sidebar here, but we'll give a little love to Micah Parsons that he confirmed it today that it is an ACL. What a horrible day in the NFL. My God, Micah Parsons and Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, I didn't do those in order of importance. Obviously, Mahomes, the bigger name, bigger deal, but both of those big dogs with an ACL yesterday. And hell, Micah's on a team that is looking to go to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a very different thing. Patrick literally was taken out of the playoffs yesterday. Hope those guys are going to be, well as quickly as possible. But we know what that means, Jason. You get an ACL on December 14th.
Exactly. I was talking to my kids about this last night because they're suddenly big football fans. And Micah Parsons is on my fantasy league, and my daughter's in a league, and she has Patrick Mahomes. She's like, oh my gosh. I was like, he may miss most of next year.
Yeah.
I mean, guys come back quicker now than they used to, but like, you can't rush that back, Chad. I mean, Parsons too, obviously, but for Patrick Mahomes to possibly be sitting out a portion or a good chunk of next year, that's just it's crazy, man. I mean, I feel bad for and I like both those guys. I know a lot of people are sick of Mahomes. I don't know. I'm still a big fan of Mahomes, so but I hate to see it for both those guys.
Yeah, I don't think even the meanest fan wants to see a torn ACL. Like, that's just brutal when you hear that that's what it is. Trey throwing us a super chat. We appreciate it. $4.99. UT should contact Bo Sparks at Texas State. Number 11, instant upgrade at slot. Trey, my daughter's at Texas State, so we're following the Bobcats. Bo Sparks can light it up now. Bo Sparks can light it up. Texas had some success with the kicker transfer. We've seen some guys go from Texas State to bigger programs. Who knows? But yeah, Bo Sparks is an exciting guy out of the slot. That's a name to definitely watch.
They should get that. Who's the receiver from San Jose State that was Scudero?
Oh,
Scudero. Yeah, he's in the portal, and that dude's a baller, man. I wouldn't hate it if Texas went and got Danny Scudero. What did he finish with? 88 catches, almost 1,300 yards at San Jose State. Hey, you want a guy working the slot for you? Go get Danny Scudero.
Those are the guys you got to pay attention to. January 2nd is the official start of the portal. Although some of these guys, I'm really interested to watch this, Jason. Are these Florida, LSU, Kentucky, are these guys actually going to start going into the portal, or are they just going to let us know? And then it is an all-out free-for-all on January 2nd.
You're asking if they're – wait a second. What?
Because once they name the coach, the way I understood it is there's a 15-day window just for those guys.
Oh, that's right. Those guys technically – they don't have to wait till January 2nd, right?
Right. So if I'm DJ Lagway and I want to go into the portal, don't I go into the portal because there's less traffic in there right now?
I would think so. Yeah. Why would you want to go in there? Yeah, absolutely. When it's going to be more congested. Yeah. You're seeing, like I said, I think 4 Florida guys have declared today. I hadn't thought about that till you said it. They don't have to wait till January 2nd, right? Those guys can go in right now. And so you know what? We need to keep an eye on these Florida guys and maybe visits they'll be taking. Yeah,
those are the names I keep looking at. But now every time I'm seeing a Florida or an LSU guy, those are the first 2 I look at for obvious reasons. All I've seen is expected when they put it, that they're expected in the portal, not that they've actually entered the portal. So I'm interested to see how they play it out, because now we're about to be done with that 15 days, and then it will just go to January 2nd. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Thank you for that super chat, and thanks to Specs for bringing us the chat each and every day. Here's a little bit of specs for you.
In the wintry land of Specksville, neath the big Texas sky, spirits are lifted and glasses raised high. With whiskeys and wines and champagnes that pop, Specks is the place where the fun doesn't stop. From cocktails that sparkle to snacks that amaze, Specks brings the merry to all festive days. For thousands of ways to spread holiday cheer, come visit Specksville. The fun starts here.
Yes, indeed. Jason, I mentioned those opt-out names earlier. Has anything surprised you on that front? Those names that we've heard that aren't going to be in the bowl game? Is there anything? We haven't seen an offensive lineman yet. I guess that would be kind of a surprise or a little bit of a concern. But did anybody like really shock you there?
Honestly, not really. Neither have the portal entries for Texas. I guess if there's one or two, I thought maybe Ethan Burke or maybe even Michael Taft. I mean, those guys don't really need to play in that bowl game, but they just bleed. You know, they're from Austin. They bleed burnt orange. So I thought maybe those two guys would stick around.
Play it out, yeah,
just to play their last game. But no real surprises. I certainly understand what, the guys are. I mean, Ethan Burke, Gilbo might be a little bit of a surprise. Anthony Hill, Trey Moore, Manny Muhammad, Michael Taft. I don't think there's any big surprises that any of those guys are not playing in the bowl game.
So, Jason, I was looking at all the bowls. I think I counted up the other day. There are like 36 bowls outside of the playoff, something like that. Out of all those games, I see three that are matchups of ranked teams in a bowl game that's not a playoff game. And one of them, of course, is Texas-Michigan.
What's the other clue? Who's Vandy playing?
Yep, you got it. Vandy, Iowa.
Okay.
Is one, and Georgia Tech, BYU.
Okay.
So I can make arguments for these teams. I'm not trying to dog any teams out, but I can make the argument for why a Miami of Ohio player or a UConn player, or I'm just scanning, an Illinois player or Coastal Carolina player would be really pumped about their bowl game. But when I talk about these 6 teams, those are teams that at one point in the year, maybe not Iowa, but I don't know, maybe Iowa thought they were a playoff team at some point. I'm not sure. Vandy and Texas right on the outside. Michigan was a playoff team at one point and then lost their way out of that situation. Georgia Tech was ahead in the ACC, and we all know what just happened to BYU. So it's always about, do you care and are you going to be focused and all that stuff and who's going to opt out? But boy, am I interested in those 3 ball games. What do they feel like in terms of the battle? Because I would sense that maybe all 6 of those fan bases would tell us, you know what, didn't make the playoff. Yeah, we'd love a win, but I don't think we're going to live and die with that bowl. I don't think we're going to, our blood pressure is going to freak out too much with that bowl game.
Yeah. What's the vibe in the stadium going to be? Are the stadiums going to be full, Chad? I don't know.
Right.
Let me ask you, what's your interest level in the Texas-Michigan game?
It's
if
two.
Texas A&M was a 10.
It's two. Okay, if that was a 10, then my interest level is at like maybe a 6 or 7 because A, it's my job to watch and pay attention, and B, I do get into Texas and Michigan's helmets getting together for only the 3rd time in the history. So there's a nerdy side, but yeah, so I'd pay attention also because as I scan these bowl games, it really does stand out.
Yeah.
The other bowl games, but and we'll get into this a little more, I think in the modcast tomorrow. I want you to get y'all's thoughts on kind of the players, the fans and everything. I mean, this is not only a different type of bowl game, but it's a new era of a different type of bowl game. So, you cover them for a living, but you're also a fan. Like, what's it been like for you in this interim? We're 16 days away right now. What are you 1 to 10 today?
Do I have to answer that?
Well, you asked me.
Your answer was high. Your number was much higher.
It was much higher. You're down at like a 3 or 4?
Yeah, probably. I was going to say 3.5. So you pretty much nailed it. Obviously, I'll watch the game because, like you said, we'll be watching it probably together. It's our job. But I would watch it anyways. But it's probably the least excited for a bowl game I can remember being. Even going back to some of the Texas bowls and Alamo bowls.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like all the opt-outs. There's just nothing to play for in this game. It's football, so I'll watch it. It's Texas, so I'll watch it. Michigan, and I'll probably watch a couple of those other games you mentioned too. But yeah, it's just I don't know. There's just it's like it's an exhibition game, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's basically an exhibition game. Now, do I watch preseason football? I mean, not really. I watch a few minutes of it here or there. That's what this kind of feels like to me.
Yeah, it's interesting you use that word. I thought of that word today where I thought, well, we can say that, but it's technically not. Like they're going to count the game because if they actually made it an exhibition, then there's really no reason to play. Then maybe if you're just going to do trophies and rings and
the most interesting thing will be with all the opt-outs watching some young guys play. I'm like, okay, that guy's
well, and see that the point you just brought up, and that's why I want to get your thoughts, but also Anwar's thoughts tomorrow in the modcast, because Anwar has talked about this as should it be treated like a preseason game? And Ketch threw in his 10 thoughts this week about one of the guys you should really focus on in this game if you're the coaches is KJ Lacey. And I thought, wait, hold on, stop. You're saying in the bowl game, you should be thinking about the guy who's going to be your backup quarterback, but right now he's your third string. And I just wondered, is that how Sark's going to think about this game?
It's not out of the question. I understand. Like, I don't think so, Chad. I don't think Sark would bench Arch at half and just put KJ Lacey in there. Let's see what we got with KJ. But for the betterment of the program for next year, I could understand if he did, right? The Cheez-It Bowl people would probably be pissed, but what, you're benching Arch Manning in half? What?
Right.
But exactly. I can understand why he would do it and why he would think, hey, this is what's best for our team moving forward. Let's see what we got with KJ Lacey. When else is he going to get meaningful game reps, right?
Yeah. Right. I mean,
I don't think Sark will do it, but it makes a hell of a lot of sense. Get those freshman receivers out there, see what they can do, right?
Yeah. I love it in theory. I love that in theory. But what if it's 10-0 Michigan early? You can start putting young guys in?
So,
right.
I mean, it's a weird balancing act. You want to win the game. You want to get your 10th win. You want to be able to say we won a bowl game. So I don't think Sark would do it. But if he did, I'd be like, oh, okay, I understand what you're doing. I get it. Yeah.
This is going to be, it's going to be wild, man. This is a new version of this kind of game. And Jason, my team was in one of them last year. Can you tell me where the Aggies played last year in a bowl?
I don't remember anything about it. Nope.
Right. They played USC. You can balance it out. Not that they're both the level of Texas and Michigan, but USC is a name, obviously, historically. But it was USC in Vegas. And I kept having to remind myself it was happening. Because obviously now we're also covering things on this side of it, right? We were covering Texas in the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. But I had to keep reminding myself, oh, yeah, there's a bowl game. So I get that feeling as a fan. And I wonder what it's going to be like for fans of Texas, Michigan, those other programs we mentioned. But with all due respect to those other four, I mean, this is big boy blue blood. Hell, Michigan won a title a couple of years ago. They're a couple of years away from a national championship. Texas went to the Final Four 2 years in a row. Don't tell either one of these teams, oh, come on, it's the Citrus Bowl. Don't you know the history of the Citrus Bowl? They don't want to hear any of that mess. So focus is a big part of every bowl game for me. That's not a playoff game, but I really want to see how these two teams, especially with what just happened at Michigan, with all that stuff going on. Wow.
It's probably two teams that'll be probably top 10 preseason next year. So, I mean, they got a lot to build on and work towards. I mean, Michigan, obviously, their coaching stuff. There are some interesting storylines that make this game appealing, but, bottom line is, Chad, it's not the playoffs.
Right, exactly.
The playoffs, most people aren't going to care unless they're diehard Longhorn fans and diehard Michigan fans.
Yep. And by the way, Sandman, you're absolutely right. And they lost. The Aggies did, proving that it's not an exhibition game. They counted it. The Aggies went 8-4, and then they lost. And you know what they did? They put something in the loss column. They were 8-5. That's how they finished the year. And this year, is there really that big a difference between a 9-3 Texas and a 10-3 Texas and a 9-4 Texas? I can make the argument there is, Jason, but Ketch would tell me that's an old-fashioned argument, and I'm living like in the Mac Brown era.
Because you can say, oh, we won 10 games in a year. Well, yeah, now you got, is 10 games – Mac, that stat was thrown out a lot when Mac was coaching. But nowadays, you're playing 12 games and you got, postseason games. And I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's kind of a baseline. People want to say you got 10 games. You want to say you won the bowl game. Your bowl record is this. But you know what? In 10 years, is anybody going to give a shit what your bowl record is, Chad? Because bowls are going to get less and less meaningful. And like some people are saying, hey, bowls aren't even going to be around in 10 years. So is anybody going to care when you say, hey, Coach X was, 10-2 in bowl games? Oh, who cares? Like nobody even knows what bowl games are anymore. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. All right. Before we wrap up here, let me thank another one of our great partners, and it is the one that's got me breathing better. It's Sinus and Snoring Specialists. And I just ran into a situation that I run into from time to time, which is after all the stuff with Sinus and Snoring Specialists, I'll have a little bit of under the weather type of situation, a little sore throat or get a little stopped up. But once I had that sinus procedure in 2017, oh my God, having the sinuses cleared out properly really does change the things when you do get a little sick. It feels so much different than it used to be when I'd have those bouts of allergies or sinus infections or whatever it was. I don't have those issues anymore because they got rid of my allergies for good. But even when I get a little bit of a cold, a little something comes up, it's not near as bad as it used to be. Plus, I'm sleeping so much better now because they got rid of the sleep apnea. I had moderate obstructed sleep apnea, but no more. Check them out. 601-0303. You can securely call them or text them on that number or go to sinussnoringent.com. Each week when I post my 2%er article on orange bloods, I usually end up I put the link on there to sinussnoringent.com so you can go check out the website. They have cool videos and information on what they do. Surgical and non-surgical options that others just don't have. Feel clear, rested, and healthy this holiday season and beyond with Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Tell them you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live. Holidays are coming up. You're about to be traveling around, sleeping in weird beds and, other people's houses and stuff. So if you've been feeling bad, you need to get it taken care of. This is a place that can deal with it. Sinus and Snoring Specialists. All right, let me scan the chat, make sure that we haven't missed anything. See, that's yes, Cotton, yes. And that's another part of it. I think that Texas fans have to deal with, Jason. It's how do you compute the whole Cheez-It thing? Because that is a part of this game that I wasn't quite thinking about until it hit, because I'd forgotten that Cheez-It was locked into this bowl. Citrus Bowl to me it's one of the better,
sure.
It's still one of those better bowls. It's got that certain feel to it. When you throw Cheez-Its on it, there's just so many easy things to do there. There's so many things to talk about. So I just keep wondering, I'll ask you, you're a fan, as in addition to this being your job, what's the, like, if you know that they're going to pour Cheez-Its on the winning coach, are you okay with them pouring it on Sark? Like, is that better? That's better, right? Than watching them pour it on the interim Michigan coach?
Well, it's better than that, I guess, but I don't love it at all.
Because it's not a great optic. It's just it's not as bad as the mayonnaise thing, but to me, it's never looked great. Like let's be clear. Let me put all my cards on the table, Jason. I think pouring liquid on a coach is one of the stupidest things that sports has ever created. My apologies to Harry Carson and the Giants of the 80s. They're the ones that invented it. I can't believe it's not dead by now. I think it's moronic. Having said that, when you go to chips, it looks even worse to me.
I've always hated the Gatorade bath. I've always thought if I was a coach in my team, I would be pissed because sometimes it's freezing cold out there. Like
exactly,
I'd be miserable. I'd be like, you guys do that, you're running laps for the next month. Here's the deal. Like if Baylor went to the Cheez-It Bowl and dumped the Cheez-Its on the coach, you're like, okay, because that was a good season for Baylor. For Texas, it's like, I don't know. I mean, especially when you got Oklahoma, you got A&M, Texas Tech, and then they're all in the college football playoff. You factor in that Texas was the number one team in the country to begin the season. I don't know. I just don't think I'd go crazy celebrating this game if you win. I mean, if you're contractually obligated to dump Cheez-Its on, I don't know how that works, but
I don't either. I would say, can you opt out of that? We've been talking about opt-outs in the bowl game. Can the coaches opt out of the Cheez-It pour?
I would hope so, because I'm not going to hate on them if they do it, but I wouldn't do it.
How about we just walk up to the coach and offer him some Cheez-Its?
There you go. A small bowl of Cheez-Its.
Just a big, let him get a handful. Let him eat a couple Cheez-Its and move on with your life.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Have a box of Cheez-Its on the table at the press conference. That's fine. Sark can have some munchies while he's answering questions. But yeah, I don't love the Cheez-It celebrations.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Sandman's a man after my wife's heart. Her favorite band. Pour some Cheez-Its on me. Yes, that was the Def Leppard song back in the day. If they ever did that commercial, you'd know they had officially sold out. Officially, I don't think they ever did pour some Cheez-Its on me. That did not happen. All right, Jason, anything else before we wrap up here? We talked about the new running backs coach and also just kind of keep an eye out for who the next opt-outs may be for Texas in the bowl game. We would hope it's not DeAndre Moore, but it's a name that Catch threw out on Orange Bloods this weekend. Maybe a name to look out for. Maybe Zero might not end up in the game, and then who knows? Maybe he's done at Texas. We'll just keep an eye on that. Anything else on your mind today?
Yeah, we mentioned Jabbar Jaluk, the running back coach. I had talked to someone close to Derek Cooper when the Chad Scott firing, and this person was like, hey, we don't know what's going to happen because he was pretty taken aback by that. But he did tweet. Jabbar Jaluk recruited him while he was at Florida. So he tweeted a picture of him and Coach Jaluk. It was from the spring, I think, when Jaluk must have gone to his school or something. But basically, it's good. Derek Cooper's locked in with Texas. He'll be enrolling in January. I'll be working on my 3-2-1, Chad, this afternoon, so I'll have that. And then this is kind of snuck up on me. Somebody asked me about it the other day. You got the Under Armour All-American game coming up in about 2 weeks. You got the Navy All-American Bowl down in San Antonio I'll be at. So, we'll have some recruiting stuff kind of ramping up once the calendar turns to January. So
nice. Check out orangebloods.com. And of course, we mentioned January 2nd is the portal opening day, and that'll be a wild 15 days as well. Get to orangebloods.com right there. What am I doing? They get upper left. I don't need to do multiple codes. Sorry. Upper left. We always have that code for you. Join orangebloods.com today. I thought I was on another show. Sorry. It's already been a long week and it's just Monday. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, getting the notifications. We're headed towards 200,000 subscribers, 198,000 plus as I checked it this morning. Thank you guys for all your support. Again, Catch is taking care of some business today. He'll be back on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we'll pack it in for a modcast, and we will continue to talk about this bowl game and the level of interest that is going on here. Are there any more opt-outs by that point? What's going on in the portal? We'll have everything for you and the full discussion. And if Anwar is on the modcast, I want to have him lay out his preseason theory for this game, because I like the idea. I just don't know if real live coaches think about it that way. If they start to, Anwar may be about to change college football forever. Because I would love to know, Jason said it earlier, what if the dudes in the bright jackets start to realize, wait a minute, they're playing their third string quarterback in the second quarter?
We're paying millions of dollars to sponsor this? Yeah.
What is happening out? He's not on my depth chart. No, Buster in your bright peach jacket. He's not. And there's a reason for that. We'll talk about that on the modcast tomorrow. Thank you guys for jumping in. Thanks to Texas Card House and Specs for being our great partners as well. Y'all take care. This is Orange.